Riverside folks platform. Good morning to my YouTube channel folks, and good morning to Facebook lovers out there. So this is Todd Nowak coming to you with a little segment on Life Connections Peer Recovery Services. I really wanted to be in connection and be in the here and now, especially after yesterday and some things that happened in our country that caused a little bit of trauma for people. And still not sure where that is, but it looks like it might have got somewhat resolved. But I wanted to come to you today because it really drew me into a spiritual wellness. And I know it. I'm saying that word, ain't I? Spiritual. First thing that comes. Oh, I'm not religious. Church hurt me. How could there be a God when I'm going through all this trouble and pain and sickness and all this? Well, I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about a belief in a God. I'm not talking about any Bible, any congregation, anything like that. When I'm talking about spiritual, I'm talking about this. I'm talking about my pictures over here of my grandchildren. When trauma or trouble or critical or crisis happens for me, I try to move into spiritual, and that is my grandchildren back there, my wife over here, my motorcycle, all these things, right? Also, music and people. Certain people are spiritual for me. The other thing is the outdoors, right? So what I am asking from you, for others, is if you would leave a message in our platform, either the Riverside platform that you may be joining, in our YouTube channel platform, in our Facebook platform. I would like to know if you would like to have a series of these podcasts on spiritual wellness for recovery. And if you do, then I will come and I will do this on a weekly basis. So when I talk about this, I want to share some things. It's vitally important to recognize the complexity of the spiritual being itself, right? Because when we are talking about recovery, we need to be very careful when we talk about that. But we're just trying to provide an avenue in which, people can trust their own judgment and find comfort in seeing themselves as a spiritual being, for a variety of reasons, right? Is to be and live well in our life, and also to believe in hope and wellness, and that recovery can happen. So I want to share just a couple segments of some things that I would cover if you all say that you want this, or are encouraged on it. I want to share a story about a man with mental illness and a history of childhood abuse that person was going through. And this person was actually in a hospital, and he was in long-term care at the hospital. And this priest came in to that person's room, and the priest thought they were giving words of encouragement. And that priest said, God does three things for us. And the priest promised, he loves us, he watches over us, and he cares for us. And this man that was not in a good place to be out in his own community said and became very agitated and yelled out loud, tell that to the 6-year-old kid me, whose dad came home from the bar every night and beat him and his mom. Where was God then? So, what do you think that priest mistake was? That priest assumed that the God that they believed in brought comfort to all. And that priest's simple words came from their own experience. But in this, we would talk about how to support people to come to their own conclusions about spirituality. Only then would we discover our spiritual wellness, not our religious wellness. I want to share another antidote when we think about being compassionate and love and thinking about church and how church is not spiritual. It can be, but not in what we're talking about. There was a man that asked his friend, "What do you believe about God?" And that man answered, "Well, I believe what my church believes." So the man was confused and asked again, "What does your church believe?" And unsure how to answer, the man replied, "Well, they believe the same thing that I believe." And wanting to get a more defined answer, the friend said, "Okay, what do you and your church believe about God?" And the man simply replied and said, "We both believe the same thing." Well, what in the world? Many people rely on others to explain themselves and what they should and shouldn't believe. And in a spiritual wellness for recovery, we would not do that. We would talk about you, only you, and what you believe, and how your connection to spiritual belief can and would work for you and help you find them things. I remember there was this time that I was doing a training for peers, and there was a gentleman that came up when we were doing our spiritual wellness part. And the gentleman said, I can't go through this. I'm not religious. I don't believe in God. God has not done well for me. And I said, well, just give it a shot. And after the course was done, the man came back to me and he said, thank you. I found my spiritual wellness. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Do you want to share? I said, yeah, fishing. I guess I just didn't realize it, but I do it a couple times a week for my recovery. Fishing. I want to share one last thing with you, and then I want you to leave them comments. I want you to tell me if you would like an hour a week to come and do just this podcast on spiritual wellness and things to think about. There once was a Hindu man who saw a scorpion in the water. He decided to save it by stretching out his finger. And then the scorpion bit him. After the scorpion bit him, he decided to still try to get that scorpion out of the water. The scorpion just kept stinging and stinging and stinging. And there was a person down the beach, and he came up to the man and seen him and seen that he was stinging him. And he said, "Why in the world don't you stop saving that scorpion that keeps stinging you?" And that man said, "It is the nature of the scorpion to sting, and it is in my nature to love. Why should I give up my nature to love just because the nature of that scorpion is to sting?" Right? Don't give up loving, folks. Don't give up goodness, folks, in this dire time that we are in. And even if people around you are stinging you to death, do not give in and give up your ability to love, to care, and your goodness, because you have it. Thank you very much. I look forward to reading the comments. Thank you very much.